If you are a buyer in today's market, there's a chance that you're really, really frustrated. Yes, we are in an extreme seller's market here in Phoenix, Arizona right now. In fact, in my 21 years in the business, this is the most extreme seller's market I've ever seen. Coming out of the COVID-19 stay-at-home order here in Arizona, this market has absolutely gotten nuts. We have homes that are with 10, 15 offers, $600,000 to $700,000 price range. It's not even just the bottom price ranges. We're talking up to $700,000, $800,000 with multiple offers over the weekend. So if you're in the buyer in the market right now, you're probably extremely frustrated. There's a good chance you've gone out over the weekend, you found a house you love, you wrote an offer, 10 other offers came in, you got beat out. You go out the next weekend, 10 offers come in, you get beat out. And here's what happens is eventually you just get beat down. You get to a point where you have to make a decision. Am I going to buy a house right now, or am I going to go out into the even more competitive rental market here in Phoenix, Arizona? Folks, I have good news. I am here to tell you that there is a winning strategy. There's a strategy to actually win in the seller's market as a buyer. I have 12 different tips that you need to understand, you need to know. By the way, stay tuned, because 1 out of these 12 is basically 95% of everything, right? If you get that one thing down, you're 95% ahead of the game from everybody else that's in the marketplace. So it's really, really important. Stay tuned. If you're frustrated as a buyer right now, I'm gonna help you out right here, right now. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Todd Hall, founder of Phoenix Hotspots, right here in the beautiful Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, I want to jump right into this, but if you like this video, what I want you to do is hit that like button below, leave a comment. We'd love to hear your feedback, and then please do subscribe to our channel, smash that bell. That way we can notify you every time we create new great videos. We have tremendous content between just understanding what's going on in the current market, but also getting in and honing in on different neighborhoods and communities, tying it all together. This is very unique in terms of what we do with that. So do make sure that you do that. Now, with that being said, I do want to jump in here real quick, and I want to tell you my 12 tips for surviving as a buyer in this market right now today. We want to win, right? There's nothing more frustrating than losing as a buyer in a seller's market, where you have to continue to go out into the market and continue to write offer after offer, fall in love with the home only to be rejected. So I have some tips. Now, I'm actually going to start with something that's not one of the 12, but what I want to start with is the love letter, okay? Now, you're going to hear people tell you that the love letter is the way to go. All you have to do is write a letter, tell the seller how passionate you are about the home, and you have this great chance. There is a possibility. Do I encourage it? I don't discourage it. Do I think it helps? Maybe 1 out of 20 times the seller might take your offer just because you wrote the letter, and maybe your offer is just a little short of what the next best offer is. Right? But you still have to be in the running. You still have to have these 12 tips down. So do I encourage it? Again, I don't discourage it. However, it may help 1 out of 20 times. So doesn't hurt. But what I do prefer is a letter, maybe a cover letter to your pre-qualification letter from your lender, talking about what a strong buyer you are, talking about your career, and how maybe in today's market, how your career is actually COVID-proof. Right, where you're a necessity, you're an essential worker, you're in a hospital or whatever it might be, you're a doctor, a nurse, or whatever your career might be, and so you're a strong buyer. Because look, folks, it's easy to put a home in escrow under contract, but following it through to close is a completely different thing. So that letter from your lender attached to your pre-qual, maybe a cover letter attached to your pre-qual, talking about what a strong buyer you are, the fact that you can close in 3 weeks, or whatever the case is going to be really important if you're using financing. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Now, the first thing that I want to advise you to do is keep your ego and your emotions in check in this market. Here's what happens a lot of times is people want to negotiate. They want to feel like they're in the driver's seat. So the seller comes back and says, no, you know what, you're going to have to be $10,000 above list price. And you say, no way I'm doing that, right? you have to be a little bit flexible in this market. You've got to check your ego, check your emotions at the door. I understand that buying a home, if you're buying it as an owner-occupant, right, not as an investor, but as an owner-occupant, I understand it's an emotional decision, but you have to keep your ego, keep your emotions at the door. It's step number one, guys. It's really important. And let your agent get after it and do what they do best. Hopefully you have a good one. Step number two, how are you financing this home? Are you going to use cash? I will tell you, if you're able to, cash is always king. Okay, so you can actually buy it with cash if you're able, and then go back and do a refinance on it and put the financing on it after the fact. If you're able to do cash, great. Most of you are not able to buy the home with cash. So now what you need is you need a great, not a good, not a mediocre, you need an amazing, great loan officer and lending partner that can actually take your situation, whether you're FHA financing, VA financing, conventional financing. We need to get this closed as quickly as possible. We need to come as close as we can to a cash offer, because somebody writing a cash offer can close in 7 days. We don't want a 30 to 45 day close. The seller's not going to go for it. So you need a lender that can close you as quick as possible. Again, VA, there are lenders out there right now that can do VA in 3 weeks. If your lender is doing 30 to 45 days, dump them. We got some great people, but go find the right person that can get this done and that you're confident that can get it done in 3 weeks. It's going to make a huge, huge difference. Now, the third thing is that you want to understand the market climate. Here's what happens a lot of times. People enter into the market as a buyer, and their agent says, look, here's what's going on in the market. So don't be surprised if we go out and you find a house that you really love, and there's 4 or 5 offers on it right away. So you go in and you go, oh, okay, is this agent, I just met this agent. Are they telling me the truth or not? And you go out, and sure enough, you have to write 3 offers. You wrote all 3 with 10 other offers on the property. All 3 you wrote below list price. And you quickly found out that you have to get really real about where the market is right now if you're going to get anything done, okay? So just understand the market climate. If you don't necessarily trust the agent that you're working with, maybe you just met that agent, that's fine. Go out and do your own research, but figure it out quickly, because again, not understanding the market climate is a huge recipe for disaster in a market like this. The next thing you need to do is really define your home search criteria, okay? This sounds pretty obvious. Some of these might sound a little bit obvious to you, but again, define your home search criteria where you know exactly what you're looking for and you're receiving that data in real time, okay? Not Zillow. Zillow, by the way, in this market is inaccurate probably 80 to 90% of the time, because homes are flying off the market so fast, they don't update their information quickly. So I have clients that'll call me and say, Todd, I really like this house. What do you think? And I'll say, look, it's been under contract 3 weeks, or it closed 2 months ago, right? You need real-time data coming from your agent. It needs to be very zoned in on what you're looking for. And then the next step after that is you need to be ready. You need to be ready, spur of the moment, get out there and look at that house. If you think it meets your criteria, it has 2 master bedrooms, it has the pool in the backyard with a 1/4 acre lot, whatever it is you think it meets your criteria, you need to get out. You need to look at that house as quickly as possible once it comes on the market to make sure that you're able to secure it. Now, I told you that there's one step in this. This is number 6. There's one step that most of you are missing, okay? If you're out writing offers in this market and you're getting them rejected, there's one thing you're probably missing. This is 95% of the entire game is in this one thing. And that one thing is you need to pre-negotiate with the listing agent. Now, folks, it blows my mind how many agents will take a dart and throw it at a board and hope to hit a soft spot, right? We do not throw darts at a dartboard, not in this market, not in a normal market, and not in a buyer's market. We pre-negotiate everything. It's the entire game. If you want to, in the seller's market, if you want to win, it's the entire game. In a normal market, it's the difference between paying a great price versus paying $10,000 more than what you should have, or also getting the closing costs that maybe you wanted the seller to pay so you could keep some money in your pocket for moving expenses and everything else. Now look, inside of this pre-negotiation, there's 6 really critical things that need to be discovered so that you can write a winning offer, okay? So I'm not going to go into them right here, but I need you to understand that if you're throwing darts at a dartboard, or you've hired somebody that's throwing darts at a dartboard, yes, you're going to get rejected time and time and time again. There has to be some rapport built with the listing agent. There has to be some information and discovery process in order to win at this, okay? So 95% of the game is right here, and the reason that most of you are losing right now is because this isn't being followed. We have a script, literally a script. Now, for me, it's in my head. I know exactly what I want to say, right? And so does my team, but it's scripted, right? We need to know these things in order to be able to move forward and write a reasonable offer. So I know I've dwelled on this a little bit, but it's the most important thing. And again, most of you are missing it. Now, from there, what I want to do is through my discovery process, I need to know, what are they thinking? What's this listing agent thinking? Are they one of those agents that listed this thing on Thursday and they're not going to even look at it until Monday because they're just going to wait for the offers to roll in? I need to know that because I want to be the last offer in if possible, or at least right there towards the tail end. Because what I might need to do is Thursday, I contact the agent, say, my client really likes the property. We have a couple properties like this. We really like this property. And I go through my discovery process, okay? Part of that is I need to know when they're presenting offers, right? I need to know, hey, can I get something presented today? And they go, no, we're not looking at them until Monday. Guess what I need to do now on Monday? I need to go back to step 6 and I need to go through my discovery process again, and I need to contact that listing agent and start over, right? I want to be the last offer in. If I'm the first offer in, then guess what's going to happen is everybody else is going to somehow discover, probably through the listing agent, what my offer was, and they're going to go in and they're going to beat it. So step number 7, always be the last offer in. Step number 8, fill out the right paperwork, guys. Make sure everything is filled out correctly. You have the correct addendums. Everything has to be filled out properly. If you send me an offer and you don't have the right addendums attached or the paperwork is all messed up, guess what happens out of 10 offers? That one, instant rejection. Means nothing to me. I don't care. Doesn't matter. That offer, straight to the garbage can, okay? It's possible you've lost an offer because you missed an addendum that should have been attached, like an HOA addendum or whatever it might have been, or maybe there was just something not filled out properly. Okay, the paperwork needs to be filled out thoroughly, accurately. Everything needs to be attached properly in order to get this done. Now, a couple of things that you might need to be consider, and again, this is where you need to leave your ego and emotions at the door, and you also need to be financially capable of doing some of these things. Now, by the way, you don't have to do all of what I'm about to suggest, but I'm going to tell you that anything that you can and are willing to do, it is going to help you in this process. Okay, so number 9 is you should leave a higher earnest money deposit. Show you're serious. So on a $300,000 house, instead of leaving a $3,000 earnest deposit, you might leave a $10,000 earnest money deposit. Now, the other thing that you might do is have that earnest money deposit go hard after X amount of days. Okay, so we'll talk about that again in a minute. Going hard basically just means that we're going to release it. We're going to give it to the seller after X amount of days. Typically, after we've had a chance to do our inspections, we know nothing major is wrong with the house, we release the deposit money. That way the seller knows, hey, we're not going to drag this out 21, 24 days and then find out these people are bouncing, or even 15 days or whatever it might be, right? So here in Arizona, we have a 10-day inspection period. But you know what? If we can write this and we can get our inspections done within 3 to 5 days and release the earnest money at that point, you're going to have a huge advantage. Don't have to do it, but it's a great advantage. It's one way to creatively structure this. Another thing that you can do, another thing that you do need to do is you need to structure a clean offer, okay? No concessions. In a balanced normal market or even a buyer's market, I can get the seller 95 out of 100 times to give you a home warranty for 1 year. But guess what? In this market, leave it out. It's $470 in most cases, unless there's a pool. Leave it out. It's going to benefit you. The cleaner you write the offer, the better. I will tell you, in this market, if you're a buyer that's needy and you need concessions, I'm not telling you you can't get it done. I'm going to tell you that it's going to be much more difficult, and you may have to chase the homes that have been on the market 3-4 weeks as opposed to the stuff that's just now hitting the market, right? You might have to start to revise your search a little bit because, again, in this market right now, at certain price ranges in certain areas, these offers need to be really clean. So from time to time, and in certain pockets right now, like Sun City is an example, okay? Or if you're looking at higher luxury, you know, typically if you're in a luxury market, you don't need all these concessions. But again, there are pockets of price ranges and locations where you might get away with that. But in most of the valley right now, keep it really clean, no concessions, no home warranty. Don't ask them for anything. Go in, pay your own costs. Pay for your own home warranty if you want. Just don't ask for it. That's my advice. You don't have to follow it. Number 11, be prepared to add escalation clause. And so an escalation clause is something that back in the early markets that I worked in, Las Vegas in 2002 and Phoenix in 2005, there weren't a lot. There were agents using escalation clauses, but it wasn't the majority. Today, you're going to run into a lot of agents that understand this concept because we've just been through this in the last 2 decades. We've seen it, right? As brokers, as agents, a lot of us that have been around have seen this. And so an escalation clause basically says that you're going to write an offer X amount above the next highest offer, not to exceed, right? So let's say the home is listed at $350,000 and you want to write an offer $2,000 higher than the next highest offer, not to exceed $360,000. So you're willing to pay $10,000 over. That's just one example. Always put that not to exceed. Unless you have deep pockets and unlimited cash and you don't care how much you pay, make sure you put some sort of not to exceed in there, right? And again, the higher you go, the better chance you have. We used to do them at $1,000, $1,000 higher than the highest offer. It doesn't even work anymore. Because everybody's, if 5 out of 10 people are writing escalation clause at 1,000, I better be at 2,000 or 2,500 or maybe even higher, depending on the price range, right? And depending on how many offers I think are there. So again, it's always up to you. Having an agent that understands how to write a good escalation clause and try to, again, go back to step number 6, try to figure out where they need to be is really, really key. So escalation clauses is number 11. And then number 12, if you're going to write an escalation clause, you have to be prepared to waive some of your contingencies. So the first thing that comes to mind is the appraisal contingency, because if I'm going to start writing offers above list price, now it is possible that this agent listed the property below list, knowing that they would get a bunch of offers and that they could just bid this thing up. But assuming they listed it pretty much where we think it's going to comp and where it's going to appraise, then at that point, what I need to do is I'm probably going to have to, if I'm going to go above with an escalation clause, then I probably need to be prepared to waive that appraisal contingency, knowing that it's probably, as this thing gets bid up, it's probably not going to appraise, and I may need to come in with that extra $10,000, $15,000 in cash to make this work. Now, just because it's priced at $350, maybe the appraiser comes in at $355 and you're at $365. That's fine, right? But you have to be prepared to come in with that cash. So if you're going to write escalation clauses, my recommendation, waive the appraisal contingency. The other contingency that comes to mind is the home inspection contingency. So I talked about this and touched on it a little bit earlier, but the home inspection contingency basically is, hey, you know what? I want to do my home inspection, but I need 3 days to get all my inspections done. And then that earnest money deposit is going to go hard after 3 days. Now, if you're going to do that, make sure you have your inspectors lined up and you know that they can get out there in that first 2 or 3 days. Some of these inspectors are really busy right now. Okay, so make sure that they can get out there in those first 2 to 3 days. Maybe you need 5 days, whatever it is. The quicker you can do your inspections and then release that deposit money, the better. Now, do you have to do it? No. Right now you're thinking, well, Todd, what if there's something wrong? What if there's a leaky sink? Well, guess what, guys? It's a seller's market. You might have to fix it yourself. Just saying. Now, if there's a major problem like a major roof leak or the AC units are literally not blowing properly and they're 25 years old, you still have your few days there where you could back out and take your deposit money with you. But make that period short. My recommendation, make your money go hard after that. Don't ask. If there's small things, guys, send a handyman in after the fact. Don't nickel and dime in this market. You're not going to get it accepted. Those are my 12 recommendations. I'm telling you that there is possibility in this market. I know for some of you it seems hopeless right now, but there are possibilities. You can win in this market. You need the right team around you. You need somebody that's going to be very, very aggressive working on your behalf and on your side. I hope you have that. Follow these 12 recommendations, take them seriously until this market balances back out. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email. If you like this video, check out some of my other videos. I'll give you a chance to check them out here in a minute, but check out some of my other videos. Hit the subscribe button, like this video, leave me a comment, would love to hear from you. And then again, after you subscribe, hit that bell. We'll notify you every time we create a new video here at Phoenix Homes and Hotspots. Right now, check out a few of my other favorite videos right here.